Negra, that's Spanish black.
Right.
I
Make a
mean,
right
I
after
would
life.
love to turn that around every single time.
Right.
That word nigger came out of, and in fact, if somebody calls you black, there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, I'm glad you acknowledge that, and I'm good with it. I have no problem expressing to people how much I truly love the color of my skin. I love chocolate, but that's not why. I love my skin color. When I look at black people, the color and the variation of color, it's like, I look at those things and wish that black people would see that and embrace that. And somebody come to them with nigger or whatever the hell, or if they come see, and lately I'm asking because this word racist is being thrown around so poorly. I want to ask a question. Okay, so what's the difference between a racist and a supremacist? Because to me, the problem is with a supremacist. That's where the problem. Somebody who thinks that they can reign supreme over me because they have a color, and the supremacist is going unnoticed. You see, the
Right.
supremacist is going unchecked
Exactly.
because they are planting in your head that this whole racist thing is the big deal. No, everybody is a racist. If you acknowledge your race as being a one different from another race, you are a racist then. But the fact is, the supremacist, that's the key. That's the people
Well,
that's going unchecked.
everybody is not racist. Having racial pride, having
There's
pride
nothing
and
wrong with
honor
it.
for your
Yes.
race
Just like if you're
doesn't make you a racist.
exactly,
It just make you pro black.
you pro whatever you
You know
are,
what I mean?
a
It makes
pro
you pro black
Italian, pro
because I'm
whatever you
black, so
are,
it's pro black.
or if you
But
are a nationalist,
but if
nationalist,
how
you
you
love
feel
your
about
country.
yourself, if how you feel about yourself and your race and your ethnicity has to degrade and demean somebody else or debase them in order for you to feel good for yourself,
That's a supremacist.
then you are a supremacist and a
Exactly.
racist.
Yeah,
White
well,
supremacy is not a behavior, it's an institution.
well,
You see what I'm
and
saying?
I
White
Left
su-
feel
left
like
at
they're
that light.
trying so hard. If you listen to it, everybody now is, and with before long, people are just gonna say racist, just like and then they're gonna, and that act is going to, they're gonna use that, and it's going to minimize the weight of supremacism, and supremacism is what the real that is the real gun, if you will,
yeah,
or the
because
real
it's
weapon. That's
institutionalized.
the real weapon, and
Yeah.
that's what people need to nip in the bud. And when you have your leaders, actually, when I look at and this whole time of division when I came back to America has made me really look into this whole thing some more, and I found out
Right.
that uh, the Democrats who are the real racists. They are the supremacists, and they exhibit their supremacism in so many ways, whether sometimes covert and sometimes overt, but
Yeah,
mostly
well,
covert.
I think one of the main problems that we face as a people, right, is when we look at who is doing society wrong, we like to look at parties because that's the way our brains and our minds and society condition us. It's either we're going to look at the Democrats as racist or we're going to look at the Republican as racist. No, it's not the
And
people,
they're not
it's
saying
the
supremacists.
institutionalized
They're not.
system.
Yeah, they're not
White
saying
supremacy is a
supremacists.
system. It's a
It
system.
is. It's a
It's not a
full
person
on,
of
full
people, it's a
fledged
system.
belief.
So it's like you can be black as you are. And if you think and operate and behave in a certain way, then you support white supremacy. You see? So just being black doesn't mean you don't support white supremacy
Right.
because you have to educate yourself
Well,
on how not to support it being black.
exactly, because
You
being
see?
black, you're
Because it's
naturally
so
supporting it. You're
institutionalized
naturally,
that
is that what you're saying? That
people are going
you're
to support it
naturally,
no
is
matter
that
what
what you're
color you
saying?
are.
No,
You're,
some people's behaviors, what he's saying is some people's behaviors, no matter what color you are, falls into the institutionalized white supremacy.
and I
Right.
think that will
People support
continue
it.
to happen as long as people are not becoming fully aware and alert about white, not even just white supremacists. Because I can tell you what, if you think that South Americans are not feeling supremacist over blacks, you make a sad mistake. I've experienced so much. I live over in Alexandria, where there are a lot of not only South Americans, but there are a lot of people from Asia, the Asian countries.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you how they behave with black people, and it's very over. It's very subtle.
Right.
And then they often get over, and it's a look, it's a shrug, it's a sport, and sometimes you see down and outright disdain the way they look at you and the way they behave, and they're supremacists. And I had a woman in my car who she told me she's from she's a white woman from one of those places, Libya or someplace like that.
Right.
And she said to me, I have no what is the word? It means when you don't feel sorry for someone.
Empathy.
I have
Empathy.
for black people in America, because they do it to themselves. Well, I can tell you.
But she's a white lady from where?
Educate that woman. She's from one of those nations there.
In Africa. White lady from
It
Libya.
wasn't Africa, either the Middle East or some
Lebanon.
part of Europe.
Lebanon.
No, it wasn't Lebanon. I want to say it was probably either Spain or Portugal or one of
Yes.
those.
Yeah, I can
Very
imagine.
racist.
And let me tell you
imagine.
something. The whole world is supremacist over blacks, and the reason why they continue to be that way is because black people are constantly focusing on the wrong things.
That's true.
I agree.
When black people begin to stand up and not accept some of the stuff that they throw at, for example, in a black neighborhood all over America, wherever you go,
Right.
you see these businesses coming,
Yeah.
and not 1 ounce of black ownership are in those businesses.
You're right. Right.
And furthermore, to a slap in the face, they don't even hire black people.
Right.
Now
Exactly.
they're hiring Hispanics,
Uh-huh.
they're hiring and the Chinese ones, which I had such a run-in with a Chinaman today. The Chinese one, they will never hire anybody but Chinese.
Right.
They won't
Tell me
even
about
hire
it.
the Hispanics.
Right. Right.
And
Tell
people
me
don't
about it.
know that China, you can never be a citizen in China if you're not Chinese.
Right.
If you're born there 100, the Muslims over in China don't have citizenship.
Right.
Wow.
So this is China, and they are the worst when it comes to black. But what I find out is not that they hate blacks, It's not hate, and that's why I'm
Right.
really
What is
emphasizing the word supremacists. It's not that they hate blacks; it's they have absolute disrespect for the black race.
Yeah, because they have been conditioned and trained
No.
and taught. Yeah, they were
Yes,
taught.
they have. That's
They have
part
been
of, that's
taught.
a part of
They've been
their
conditioned
DNA.
and taught
It's more
to
the Chinese.
think a certain way towards other
Every
people.
race does that
Every
with
But-
our
race.
people.
But
That's right.
globally,
But for
black people,
it's-
people of color, globally
it's the worst
are
for
the
them.
victim of every other race of people.
And
No
guess
matter
what?
where you at
And
on the
we
planet.
as a people, and
Mhm.
I'm going to say we collectively
Collectively.
play into that scenario every single time. Look how many times you have, when you had Malcolm X. Let's even go, the guy who came here from Jamaica, Marcus Garvey. and
Marcus Garvey,
started the
Malcolm X. All
movement.
right, let's get it.
Did you know it was their own black people who,
Right.
who ratted him out?
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Black people
Sold 'em out.
consistently do that crap.
Right.
And
We
That's
tell
right.
on each other.
overlook
That's right.
the supremacists.
That's right. That's right.
That's
They'll
what I
run
was. That's
to
what
the
I
white
was
man.
saying earlier.
And
That's what I was
and
saying
that's
That's
earlier.
silly boss.
Right.
Look at our congressional
Right.
black caucus right now. Let
Right.
me just say to you this, okay? The congressional black caucus, and they wear the kente cloth,
Right.
which
Right.
is like crazy to me.
Crazy.
And
Yeah.
they're so buying into the supremacist agenda
Right.
that they will allow other people to come to this country and usurp the right of African Americans who built this country.
Right.
And they don't think anything about it because they do not have any respect for blacks. They are supremacists
Right.
over the black
Well,
race.
if what happened,
And-
they are racist who have created an institution
Well,
in America.
you know
It's an
what?
institution. See,
I mean,
white
to be
supremacy is
racist-
everywhere.
racist
It's right there in the Goodyear tire place. It's in CC Pizza. It's in Barnes and Nobles. It's in Target. It's in Walmart. See, it's everywhere because it's institutionalized in the
Because
economy,
black people are
inside the
left.
education
But
system.
I agree with you, sister. You know why?
We need to
Because
get
at the end of the
together and
day,
stop it.
our people will spend money on shoes and all the things we don't need. Look at that brother Umar Johnson. I didn't agree with his agenda not one bit. I didn't agree with most of his credentials, but it was our own people who turned him in because they. It was our own people that turned him into the white supremacist system to bring him down. And that's what
And
I'm
you know
saying.
who's
And
gonna
instead
The
pardon
same
him?
way they did
Trump
Marcus
is gonna
Garvey.
pardon
That's
Same
right.
way they did
And
Malcolm
the same,
X.
Right.
and you know what else?
Right.
If you take, I really urge black people to stop and take a look, because right now they are being set up once again to hate Donald Trump. Imagine
Right.
you can hate somebody you don't know.
Right.
They want people to hate this man and hate him more because he says, I want to help your community. Oh, he does, huh? He hates him because he's a racist. And what they're never saying to the black, this is what I mean, how they set up black people all the time to turn their backs against what's good for them, which
Right.
includes any black leader, which includes any black person that means good for the community, right?
Right.
Donald Trump is somebody who has long since been on the side of blacks.
He been on the side of black people.
Hell yes.
Hell yes. Please don't make me jump at those comments.
Oh no, listen. But you see, once again,
For real.
pay attention.
That's dangerous for me to jump at the sky.
Pay attention. Look what's happening to you. They are setting you up once again. I saw a black guy named Don Lemon get on TV and said some crazy stuff like white people are dangerous.
Well, Don Lemon
You
is a
know
coon.
what's gonna happen to him?
know that, right?
They're gonna use that. His boyfriend is white.
Right.
So what is he trying to do? They're setting up black people once again to buy into the nonsense, to cover their backs and keep their supremacist agenda. This man, Donald Trump, right? So you will ask, okay, what makes him racist?
Yeah, what makes him racist? I want to hear that.
And you will hear he's racist. Well, when he was in New York, he didn't rent to blacks. Well, that's not true. But let's just go to the black rental thing. I was in New York as a black woman, and it wasn't Donald Trump where I went to get an apartment. And time again, these supremacists would lead me astray and not give me the apartment when they said it was available. I can't tell you how many times that's happened.
But why they turn you down
All
for the
through Long
apartment?
Island.
Why would they turn you down?
Because I'm black. So the point that I'm making is it's not a Donald Trump thing. It is that institutionalized supremacist thing, and they use that against that guy.
Well, that's true because racism has been long and thriving long and well,
Yes.
long before Donald Trump was
what
the
makes
president.
them think that it's
That's
Donald Trump that's racist?
But
That's
Donald Trump
But
knows
look
how
at
to
what-
manipulate
look
the
at what
system of
Donald
white
Trump
supremacy to get what he wants,
Look at
even
what-
if he's considered to be a racist or not.
Okay,
He
listen
knows
to
how
what
to
he's done for
manipulate
blacks,
the
though.
system
Listen
of white
to what-
supremacy to get what he
listen-
wanted. And he did that to get everybody in America to vote for him.
Listen to what he's done for blacks before he voted. First of all of those rap stars and ball players were friends with him. Some of them
That's true.
Prior
They
to
not only were they
based on
friends-
business, yeah.
listen to this. Not only were they friends with him, they loved him.
That's
okay?
true. They
based
love
on
him.
business.
Check
Yeah,
it
based
out.
on business,
Just
yeah.
check it out. Check it out. So now he decides to run for president. He doesn't fit into the mold of the supremacists. So they want the blacks. Yeah, they want to keep those supremacists want to keep the blacks. And one way to keep them is to make sure anybody who is not supremacist against them, they have to destroy them in the eyes of blacks. You look, when Donald Trump moved first time to Florida, okay? The black people, even Tiger Woods, were not allowed in those, back house private rich man's club. It doesn't matter how much money you have, what those rich ball players, none of them allowed. But Trump was friends with many blacks. And when he went down there and learned, when he invites his friends over, blacks are not allowed, he had to fight. They didn't just say, okay. He had like a 3-year lawsuit that he fought to change that in Florida so that black people who can afford it can go into these back rooms. And this is in the 90s. This isn't like in the 60s.
So I mean, what you're saying? You saying that
I'm
proves
saying
that he's not a
no,
racist?
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying you look at a man, the things he's done, and by his works and what he says. And also look at the other side, because I scratched my head. I said, wait a minute, why does he give these opportunities to people? There's a woman who lives in his basement, a homeless woman. She got in there when they were building, restruck the Trump Towers in New York,
Yeah.
and she's homeless. So she kind of found her way in there, and hid underneath his basement. And when he was running for president, they had to sweep his whole building,
Yeah.
meaning, look for everything. And they found her.
Wow.
They found her. She had been there already for 7 years, sneaking under there.
Wow.
And they tried to throw her out. And she wouldn't leave. And now they're going to go to the boss, which is Trump, to get her out. And Trump went down and he saw her. And he said to her, I think her name is Mildred,
Yeah.
I tell you what, you can stay here as long as you want until you can afford it, but as long as you need. And she says, I don't see how I'm going to be able to. And I mean, this woman, her story is, she was beaten and abused and all of this stuff that brought her to that place in her life.
Right.
And Trump allowed that woman to stay down there. But what did he do? He sends flowers to her every 2 weeks, fresh flowers, religiously. Sends to that woman.
Well, I want to say this.
And then
Why he ain't put her in the house?
organize.
Hold on, let me ask, but let me just say this, because I like to, when I talk about politics, I don't put my feelings in anything.
Right.
And what I would like to say is that a lot of people, I had to learn that a lot of people are going to vote based off of their own pocket, and it's not about their feelings. They're not going to worry about the next man. They're not going to worry about the immigrants. It's about self-preservation at this point. And I think for our people, it would benefit them to worry about self-preservation and really worry about themselves, and not necessarily be emotionally involved in the political process of this country, because we're in a country where we're in a country. Hold on a second, let me finish.
Yeah.
We're in a country that black lives don't even matter. So where the fuck does my black vote matter here? That's the biggest lie they tell us.
Well, let me tell
So,
you something.
because,
black
hold on.
life doesn't matter if black people think black life doesn't matter.
I'm just telling you what the facts are. My life doesn't matter to another black person nor another white person.
That's terrible.
Because that's all about, because this country is about
I
self-preservation.
refuse to believe that.
I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
this country is about self-preservation at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think if people kind of come out of the mindset of being wrapped up in their feelings and watching what's on the media every day, of course they're going to be misled.
No,
Go
they're
straight
being
ahead.
misled. I think black people are I can't believe how this has brought out the worst in people.
But I think a lot of people are, yeah, straight. I don't think a lot of our black people are waking up, and I think that they are getting very smart and very in tune. And I think a lot of people that aren't from this country, they come here and they underestimate the black American that's already here. Because
I believe so.
because just having conversation with other blacks that are not from America, they talk down on us as if they are better or they have more information and knowledge. And at the end of the day,
How do you mean?
I'm just saying, I'm talking off of experience and not off of what I'm reading online.
So you say other blacks talk.
That's
down
right.
on-
I've come into contact with other black non-Americans that they view us as different things. Just as you say the next Asian person, how you say the Asian person got in and was disrespectful to blacks, and other people come in and say that they don't respect the black Americans. And I think a lot of people don't respect the black American, and it has more to do. Hold on, it has more to do than what it just has a lot straight around. It has more to do with the ignorance that's just bred in their minds, that they're better and that we're dumb and ignorant because of what we went through.
Who bred that you're dumb and ignorant?
I'm just saying that's the mindset that they come with.
Do you think that somebody?
No, I'm just going off of experience. I'm not saying off of one or two people. I'm talking about what I've experienced time and time again. Because
I can say to you, Nigerians, if they're among the royalty, and I've lived in South Africa where there are a lot. If a Nigerian marries a black American, they would have forfeited their whatever their
Right.
royalty.
There's a lot of them that are
So
like that, and they're not coming from royalty.
So
So
in Nigeria, if a Nigerian marries a black person, a
a
black
black
American,
American, yeah.
they have to
That's
marry
what
within
this
their
woman, I was
lineage. Some
shocked
people
when
say
she
that.
said to me, if they marry a black American, they married descendants of slaves. And so therefore they will have forfeited their um, whatever.
Their
yeah,
inheritance.
the
So
inheritance.
so therefore
Interesting.
that goes back to
Interesting.
what I was saying
That's
earlier
even more
about other black
another whole
people that
different
look down
conversation
on
right there.
black of Americans
You
because
know what I'm
of what
saying?
we went through in slavery, and they say that we can't trace ourselves back, and we're lost people.
I don't think
And a
that.
lot of people, I'm just telling you what they've told me, ma'am. I'm not going off of feelings. I'm going off of real life
And
experience.
I'm
And
also,
so
I've been told,
that's a very real thing.
it's true, and I've been told by a black American when asked where are you from, I'm only from Mississippi, and I have no culture. It's like, are you freaking kidding me?
Well, a lot of
Are
people
you?
have been stripped because just like you, hold on.
I was
Earlier when I got in the car, the first thing, one of the things that you mentioned was about, black Americans and stuff like that. A lot of us were Native Americans, but a lot of our identity was wiped away, and we were all classified as Negro. That is something, that knowledge that was handed down to me from my great grandmother, who told me what type of tribe Indian that she come from. But when the Census Bureau come through in 1930, they classified everybody that was brown as Negro.
And that included the
well,
And that
indigenous
includes
people that were
people who were not
already here
slaves.
prior to
So you
slavery.
have people
so
here who
I
never
think it's
experienced
Because see,
time.
we
slavery.
already been there before slavery. Most of
So
the
do you
American
believe
history
it's
that they
time
write.
that black people in America take their power back and stop saying,
Absolutely.
I want this from you, I want that from you,
I agree.
and stop being led around by the supremacists.
That's
The
right.
supremacist people have black people underfoot and they can't see it because nobody wants to talk about that truth. And
Well,
black people are holding on too much
well, the thing
to
is,
that
talk
stuff.
is cheap. We've
Like,
been talking about fixing racism for over what 100 years.
so the
So it's
talking
time,
should stop.
right? The
That's right.
talking should
And
stop, and
We
it's
action
time
need
for
should
action.
begin.
action.
That's
And
right.
one of the
I agree.
actions, I feel one of the biggest action is for the music industry that are taking these talented black men and paying them only if they make shitty music about black women, like bitches and hoes. That's one of the things that all those records, they should be wiped off, and
I
a
agree.
new form of,
Because that's
it
energy.
begins
It's
Well,
with
bad
see,
energy.
respect.
it
And
balls
once
into this.
and
See, everybody talk about that subject, but you have to look at how
such a
women
hard
refer to
subject.
themselves also in this
That's
matter.
what I mean.
Because
The
if a
whole
woman
thing
refer to herself as a bitch in a hole, then she
that a
can't
woman shouldn't
expect
take it.
everybody else to call her
And the
queen and
father
princess
of
And
that
that's what
when,
she's
little
when, when
saying
they
right
refer
girl,
to
there.
the
themselves.
father
So
of
it's
that
about
little girl
self-perception.
should say, I have to go
Oh,
now.
you gotta
Okay,
go.
see you later.
All right,
Uh-oh.
you gotta let us out.
Yes,
So,
hello. Isn't it a
all
good
right,
conversation?
all
All
right
right, have a
then.
good one.
Keep
Thank
it
you.
Be
going.
good.
Keep it
Y'all be
going.
good.
Respect.
All right,
All
have a
right.
good
Just in a
one.
little bit.
All right, peace. All right, let me get one more of these mint candy right here, 'cause
Okay.
y'all give me so dry throat in here now. All right, y'all. Yeah, man, it get crucial sometimes, man. The Uber, yo. Sometimes you get in deep conversations with people, man. They be, woo wee. Man, listen here. I wasn't even ready for that one there tonight. But sometimes we have to describe what institutionalized racism is to people. And old medicine, man, when I be riding Uber, man, I barely get a word, and most listening I get is on YouTube. But they don't listen to me for nothing in real life. Because they be out there running them out, doing their thing. And she was off the chain in that Uber. But, every now and then we share information with people to try to get them to understand the institutionalized bullshit that we're faced with. So peace, this medicine, man. I'm gone.